I was thankful about that because of that decision. I chose potato corner. I told him I'll choose potato corner, sir, because I committed already to my business partners.
Was it easy for you?
So
Made
difficult.
sense?
Potato corner was still starting, although the first store was doing well. We had only one store at a time when he asked me to choose. Take a family, so I lost my security, my income security. And maybe that was the nice thing that happened because now I didn't have any lifeline.
That's a famous quote of you, right? Cut all the lifelines, that you're kind of forced to succeed, you're forced to make it happen.
Yeah, because of that, I was just forced to. This will happen, or I don't have anything.
So today I'm joined by Joe Magsaysay, co-founder and long-standing CEO of Potato Corner. I think Potato Corner does not need any introduction. It's a household name in the Philippines. Everybody loves and everybody knows Potato Corner. So I'm extremely thrilled to have you here and spend kind of a few minutes with me to pick your brain, because I think you have seen a lot, and I think you also are still keen to build more. So we will dive also into the future. But before, maybe Joe, you could set the stage a little bit of like how big was Potato Corner when you left, just for the viewers who are not so familiar with the brand.
Wow. Well, I sold Potato Corner in 2022. Me and my founding partners, and we had 1,400 plus stores when we sold in 2022, and.
Not only Philippines, right? International, you have many markets.
We had, at that time, we had maybe 40 stores in the US, 120 stores in Indonesia,
Taiwan, I read.
20 stores. Oh, Taiwan was not under me. So okay. Taiwan came out after my stint in Potato Corner. So Dubai, New Zealand, Australia.
It's one of the few brands that made it out of the Philippines to a global stage. Why do you think so?
Well, I think we were not very rigid. We all know that McDonald's has difficulty fighting Jollibee in the Philippines. I mean, the Philippines might be very unique because the nice thing about the Philippines is it's a consumer-driven market. That's why you have to listen to your consumers. And McDonald's put in spaghetti.
That's true. Yeah, they changed the menu.
There's no spaghetti in any other country except for the Philippines. But Jollibee,
they copied Jollibee.
Yeah,
basically.
so Jollibee is doing very well because it caters to the consumer. It's consumer-driven. And Potato Corn was able to go to other countries because one of the things that we did, we were not too rigid on the quality that we have in the Philippines. So as far as I'm concerned, Potato Corner's quality is relative to where you are. And quality is always what the consumer thinks it is. And it's not you. I think if you keep on saying that this is our quality, you're the owner, you're the R&D, and you think this is quality, no, you have to listen to what the market says first, and then maybe you can start from that.
So you adapt a different playbook based on the market that you enter.
But the nice thing about Potato Corner, I want to talk a lot about flexibility. We didn't start that way, but we learned because we started having a lot of hurdles or pain points entering other countries. What we realized is we'll never be able to bring in some of our raw materials or finished products, for example, in one country because of their strict food laws.
The FDA.
Yeah, their FDA or their customs laws. So we said, hey, what do we do? So we outsourced for example, seasonings, flavorings, or maybe French fries or other raw materials locally, then that's what we were doing in the Philippines anyway, because there's this foot and mouth disease, you know. You, pork it's difficult to transport pork in the entire Philippines because of that. So there are protection screens all around the country. And so we localized some of the things that we're doing in the Philippines. And then we realized, hey, why don't we localize also everything that we do? That's why it's easy for us to go from one country to another, because we're localizing everything. We source everything from the locality. For example, our fries in the U.S., well, our fries come from the U.S., our seasonings come from the U.S.
Oh, okay.
And it turns out very good, because the cheese profile in the U.S. is different from the cheese profile in the Philippines. The cheese palette of Thailand is also different. So that's how important localizing is. You know, it's not like, for example, I negotiated several times to buy a U.S. franchise food brand here for the Philippines, but at the end, we always deadlocked, because the U.S. principle says, no, you have to get everything here. This is what you have to be. My point of view is, for the Philippines at least, or maybe a lot of Asian countries, you should be flexible with your supply chain and your taste preferences.
So not only supply chain, but also how you attract the consumer, like what kind of flavors, what kind of products you're offering. You always customize it to each market.
That's right. Like, for example, Indonesia loves very spicy food, so we just got very spicy chilies.
Okay.
We dried them and then we blended them and then just served exactly that.
I can't imagine that would not work in the Philippines. People like sweet.
Yeah.
So before we dive deeper into the scaling pains and the lessons from Potato Corner, I actually want to go even a step before. So you started in the F&B space, right? You started at Wendy's, kind of as a janitor in the beginning, but quickly rose also to the management level. Like, what did Wendy's taught you, and why did you join Wendy's? What was so attractive in the beginning, and what was the reason behind everything?
I joined Wendy's because I was in college and needed extra money for my allowance. I was a scholar, but the scholarship program didn't provide any allowance, so I was left with no money to provide me a ride home. So what I did, actually, because I didn't have any money to ride home, I'd ride by the door of the bus. So when the conductor came near me just to check my ticket or for me to pay, I'd go down, then ride another bus. Sometimes from school to the house, it took me about 4 or 5 rides.
Oh my God.
But because I just didn't have any money to pay. So that's why I needed a side hustle or part-time work. So
Income.
Wendy's was available because it was a US franchise, and the US really does part-time work. They introduced McDonald's and Wendy's. They were here early, and they introduced part-time work.
But you stayed, like, even after college, right? You stayed at Wendy's almost a decade, I believe.
I dropped out of college because Wendy's offered me a full-time job, and that was like another fork in the road for me. I had to choose whether to provide food for myself, my mom, or finish college. And that time, it's more important to provide for ourselves first.
But like, eventually you decided, I'm going back to full risk on. You wanted to leave a corporate cushion and then start Potato Corner. Like, I read somewhere that a famous or one of your mentors was very instrumental to your decision making of, okay, I'm ready to take the leap of faith, start Potato Corner, leave a corporate salary. What was the thinking back then? Was it always the idea that you become an entrepreneur, or was there a certain opportunity that you could just not let go of?
No, I think it was my personality. I was really, I think my personality is always very innovative.
Okay, I can see that you have a lot of ideas, so probably you're also very restless. You talked before this conversation we talked already about your future.
Like for example, when you're working for food, food cost is very important.
Mm-hmm.
It's because food cost in the Philippines is really high, compared to the U.S. But there's a human habit that when you hold the ladle
Mm-hmm.
and then scoop a scoop of chili, because everybody's in a hurry. They don't level it, they don't shake it so that it's level
Mm-hmm.
with the sides of the ladle. So you overportion always.
There's a perception also,
So your
how you sell it.
Your food cost gets
I think-
high.
I think Five Guys does that a lot, no? Like you studied the fries market, right? So
Yeah.
Five Guys always takes a lot of fries, adds it to your bag. Is that a
Yeah.
perception of value that they use?
Oh, definitely. Five Guys is Five Guys. They reinvented everything as far as that one is concerned. So what I did, I trimmed without telling my bosses. I trimmed the ladle. I trimmed the lid of the ladle for about maybe 5 millimeters.
To save a bit of cogs.
Yeah, so that even if they don't shake the ladle, they don't level it, then they pour it right away. I still have the same amount. I didn't shortchange the customer,
Mm.
but I'm at the right already. Right.
You don't over.
Yeah, I don't overportion now. So when I was a manager, so my food cost was always perfect.
Do you think that's the secret or the key metric to track in F&B? Like your gross profit, your gross margin at the end of the day? Is that the most important metric that you learned at Wendy's?
Yeah, for Wendy's, yeah. It was a very important metric. 1%, 2% variations are already critical already.
Mm. And then fast forward, you took that leap of faith, went to with 3 other people. I believe you started Potato Corner. I think you borrowed 150,000 pesos to start the business. Is that true?
What happened was I didn't actually did the leap of faith. I was asked by 3 of my future partners at Potato Corner because they invited me to join. But I was still at Wendy's. But I needed the job security. So I did Potato Corner with them while I was still full-time at Wendy's.
Oh, that's very generous of Wendy's that they allowed you to work on that.
Not after.
Not after it became
So
successful.
when it became successful, a month and a half after,
Mm.
I opened Potato Corner. I was called to the office of the president, and
Wendy's.
yeah, at Wendy's. And I wasn't the senior executive there. I was just an area manager. So when you get called to the office, there's a problem already. So and Titoy Pardo called me to his office. He said, and Joe Mag, you choose Potato Corner or Wendy's. And
Was it a hard decision?
Kinda. I know already I made a mistake. There was conflict already,
Mm.
and maybe it was his way of saying, I just want to make it easy for you to decide,
Force a
I don't-
decision.
yeah, something
on
like
you,
that.
Yeah. Was it a difficult?
But it's nice because when he wrote a book, when he did his autobiography, he gave 1 page about me. He said,
Nice.
Joe Mag had a lot. I could see Joe Mag's entrepreneurial abilities, and he was a real entrepreneur. That's why I let him go. I told him to do Potato Corner. So I was thankful about that because of that decision. I chose Potato Corner. I told him I'll choose Potato Corner, sir, because I committed already to my business partners.
Was it easy for you? at
It
that
was
point?
difficult.
Was it already at a scale?
It
that
was so
made
difficult.
sense?
Potato Corner was still starting, although the first store was doing well. We had only 1 store at a time when he asked me to choose.
And for everybody who doesn't
So
know,
I was
a
sad
store is
because I
very
was starting
small.
a family. So I lost my security, my income security. And maybe that was the nice thing that happened because now I didn't have any lifeline.
Mm.
I didn't have any.
That's a famous quote of you, right? Cut all the lifelines, that you're kind of forced to succeed. You're forced to make it happen.
Yeah,
that
because of
something you
that, I
hold
just
so
was
true?
just forced to this will happen or I don't have anything. So
You force your own luck by just going all in.
Definitely no vacations, no days off, nothing, no social life, just potato
price.
corner.
How was just to wrap up the early days? Like you launched one store and then immediately started franchising. You learned this from Wendy's and you saw that's the only way to grow?
Well, I know about some franchising because Wendy's was a franchise, but there were no franchise consultants then. So we just kind of did our own way of franchising. We called it franchise. Some were joint ventures. We were just, again, I keep on going back to being flexible, flexibility, and letting things happen. So that thing, we did sort of so many variations of like franchising, or joint ventures, franchising, or maybe licensing and those things. So, I like always to remove any friction for people getting in the system. In fact, I even a free franchise for certain.
I read about this. No royalty-free franchise.
We were the first in the Philippines to remove royalties.
That's a big move.
Because to me that was also a friction, and it sometimes is difficult for a franchisee. It's difficult to trust an organization asking for a royalty.
Yeah, it's an upfront investment, right? Like it's more difficult.
And then look at
franchisee.
Even if Potato Corner was what it is today, in spite of that, we never raised the franchise fee. We kept the franchise fee to the like 20 years ago. And my objective doing that was I just wanted to make sure our franchisees paid back properly, made a lot of profit.
That's admirable. I think I can always tell that there's a lot of ethics in the way you conduct business. So also when eventually COVID hit, or even the financial crisis, the Asia financial crisis, most of the stores you shut down were your own. No franchise stores shut down, right?
Yeah, that's another nice thing to talk about, Simon. No? When everything closed, well, I'll go back even to the Asian economic crisis in the late 90s. When we shut down, when the Asian economic crisis hit, there were only less than 40 potato corners left.
From how many stores to 40?
From 120 stores, there were less than 40 because of the Asian economic crisis when all costs went up. You know who were this? About 40 stores were left. Our franchisees.
Because they loved it so much, or
they were always worrying about the livelihood of their employees, and
So they stick with you through the hard times. Really.
Yeah, so they took care of the brand. Imagine zero Potato Corner. We would have closed Potato Corner if not for them. And then, so after the Asian financial crisis, we started to regrow again the brand from almost zero. And then during the pandemic, again, when everything was closed, our franchisees remained open because they wanted to take care of their employees in spite of them losing. And what we did also was very important. What we did is I called the franchisees. I told them, during this pandemic, you're not bound anymore by the 4 square meters of your stores. I will let you sell anywhere you want. And then also our employees, so we told them, during this crisis, you become entrepreneurs also. So everybody sold wherever they were. So everybody was at home. Everybody was selling in subdivisions, at their homes.
Like online selling,
and
Facebook.
And because of that, in spite of the pandemic, Potato Corner is one of the few companies that were still profitable.
That's fascinating. There are so many interesting lessons in Potato Corner, but before we extend this part more, I just want to touch on what was the biggest growing pain. What I'm very impressed by is the strength of the brand, which grew super strong, and everybody in the Philippines knows this brand. It's a household name. Everybody loves it. We just talked to the staff here. Everybody loves Potato Corner. Why do you think that's the case? Because in the end, it's a very simple product. There's very little moat from a product point of view. Like McDonald's is starting to copy this, the flavored fries and things like that. Why do you think the brand was so sticky? And what was also the hardest part to get to that scale? Was it more supply chain or working with so many different franchise owners? What was the biggest pain and lessons from scaling a brand?
Well, the plane was always the challenge. Were always the supply chain,
Mm.
and we had to deal with a lot of supply chain issues. And people don't realize we changed seasoning suppliers many times. We changed French fries, different kinds of French fries, many times. But because we kept on growing and growing, and the product itself was very important, because who doesn't love French fries? I mean, every kid loves French fries.
Yeah.
We just happened to put flavor in it, and that stuck. That's
So it
when
was
the
this
stickiness
product innovation kind of where you, wow, that's new.
became. Yeah,
Building
my-
on a winning product.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was also something, because one of my partners, who was my brother-in-law, had a flavored French flavored popcorn business, and he was doing very well. So one of my other partners said, maybe we can do it with French fries,
Yeah.
and they did that.
And what was the secret to building such a strong brand? Like, what was it just the product itself that led the brand, or was there any other thing that you did that really built such a strong brand reputation?
I think you let it grow. We let it grow. We let it go. You know, we didn't put a lot of friction into its franchising. As I mentioned a while ago, that hey, you have a good site. I think it's a good site. You don't have any money. I'll give you the franchise.
Okay, so it was really kind of a brand led by so many different entrepreneurs who loved the brand because they were entrepreneurial themselves. And do you think that's kind of a recipe for success?
Yes, because corporate people run things differently compared to franchises when they have their money on the. They have a stake on the business. They put in money to put up the business, and
That's true.
they'll fight for that.
It's a different risk profile.
Yeah.
Fast forward 2022, you actually let go of the business. You sold it to Shakey's. What was the motivation behind it? Was it driven out of COVID crisis? Was it just time? Or you thought bigger synergy effects with Shakey's? What was the driver for selling the business?
For me, the driver was I had a lot of health issues. I didn't think I was going to live. In fact, right now I still live a day at a time because I have hydrocephalus. So that's my health challenge now. So I have hydrocephalus, seizures comes with that, and then and while doing Potato Corner, I didn't have time for my family. I didn't have time for anything else. Maybe I thought maybe I should put time for my family and for myself.
And for learning, you still go back to college, right? You went to AIM. There's so many activities where there's learning involved in your journey, I feel like. Is that a common theme in your life still up today?
Yeah, I'm continuously learning. Like today I'm learning. Like today I'm learning again because, I got news that's not so good. That they're a company that that did bad. Now it's hurting my reputation also. So I assume things would go wrong. So I assume things would go right. So it didn't. So not good. So what the learning I'm the learning now again, I'm learning something new is I should, when I enter a new venture or be a co-owner of something, I have to make sure that I know everything what's happening. I get involved with the strategic plans and the direction, and check if management is doing their work properly.
Like proper due diligence,
Yeah.
background checks on the people you work with. That's a very good lesson. I think everybody eventually makes that one. Despite health issues, despite the big acquisition, you're still very active. You're very busy. It's hard to get a hold of you sometimes. So what's keeping you up? What are you excited about in the Philippine market? What do you want to work on? Like what's next for you, Joe?
Well, I think I want to make the Philippines the entrepreneurial hub of ASEAN at least. No, there's a lot of room for growth, and a lot of people want to become entrepreneurs, or if not entrepreneurs, at least you're able to give them side hustles. And I think the next big thing will be so simple enough, a business so simple enough. It's a side hustle for a lot of corporate people.
Like, is it in the F&B space, or what do you have in mind?
Well, for me, really, it's service and F&B. That's what I know.
Right.
So I'm sure there's so
Very
many
well.
other businesses
Yeah.
out there.
But like when you look at a business, what makes it attractive? Is it a market? Is it a certain unit economics? Or like what's the first thing that Joe looks at if I pitch you an idea?
Well, it's a good product first.
Product.
Good product or good service, whatever that product is, it has to be good first. And then second, there has to be a separate team. The mistake we did in Potato Corner before is we tried other brands, but we let the same Potato Corner team run those brands also. So those brands suffered. Even Potato Corner suffered because they had to do something that was not Potato Corner.
Like different brands under the same umbrella company. Is that what you mean?
Yes, and I
Okay.
think that's still powerful. Multiple brands in one company, just make one thing sure that you have a separate team running those brands. It cannot be the same team.
Because you cannot switch from selling fries to selling donuts or whatnot. It needs to be siloed in different
I
teams.
think you cannot multitask managing different brands. Even if, for example, I come up with Potato Corner, then I come up with another French fries brand that's low-end market, for example. I cannot have the same team run same project because they're two different markets also.
Like most people, brand is something very difficult to grasp. It's kind of a black box. There's a lot of things that go into, and kind of everything eventually touches the brand. How do you think about brand? Like, what advice would you give someone who say, "Hey, I want to be an entrepreneur in the F&B space, in the consumer space. I want to build a very strong brand." Like, what would you say they should focus on?
They should focus on positioning first, the product first. Just make sure that sometimes I notice that a lot of people will make the brand so big, but when I look at it from 50 feet away, I don't understand what are you selling. So I'll just move on, especially if it's a kiosk business. So if you move on, if you see something 50 feet away, then I don't know what it is. I just see a logo. I just walk by. But for example, I see the brand, but I see a big picture of the product, or maybe a tagline that says, "This is the best shawarma in the Philippines." I might go out of my way just to check it out. So be careful about branding, because it's not how nice the brand is, but it's
How clear
and
speaks
how
to its
inviting
audience.
it is. The hook should be the product, still the product. So 50 feet away, I mean, people passing you who are just 6 feet away are easy to get.
Right.
But you have so many people also passing you who are 100 feet away, 50 feet away. You have to find a way to get them. So even in billboards, when I pass by billboards, I look at the billboards and I think, what are these
What
guys
is-
selling? I can't understand. I don't even sometimes see the brand anymore. I don't even see what the product is. I can see a big person smiling, and that's it.
Yeah. Do you think still the main winning concept in the Philippines is the kiosk? Like, that's basically the concept corner made very famous, right? The
Well,
low capex.
from my point of view, yes, because
quick
it provides
paybacks.
the highest profit per square meter,
So,
low investment.
so in which space should people enter? What do you see in the market? I'm sure you observe it clearly of who's entering, who's active, who's succeeding. Like, what would you focus on? Is it more health? Is it more convenience? Is it like what are the trends that you're seeing in the F&B in the consumer space?
Oh, trends in the consumer
or
space.
directions that you would
Something.
explore?
It's always something very Instagrammable.
Mm.
Has to be something I want to take a picture of. I want to show my friends what I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
It's that already now, but of course it doesn't. But the elements are supposed to be. I always talk about sometimes when you launch something new, the elements of a novelty should be there. When I'm talking about a novelty, there is smell.
Mm-hmm.
There is, you can touch it. You can smell it. No, you can. There's mystery. It's colorful.
So smoothies would be one, maybe. Colorful. But like, where do you spend your time at the moment? Like, you left Potato Corner almost 4 years ago now.
Right.
What's keeping you busy right now?
Simon, I'm looking for business partners. There's so many things that are on the table. I want to put up street food clusters.
Mm-hmm.
I want to put up. I want to put up more food parks. I'm looking for land that I can lease and maybe share the business with partners.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you have land that's unutilized but has potential to be a food court or to be something, or hey, let's talk, and maybe just by referring to me a project or a property that we can. I think to me the platform is real estate now.
Mm. You want to get into the platform business and then plug your own ideas into it, or just stay on that platform layer and
So
just
the platform for me is, hey, we have real estate here, which is
Mhm.
going to be the platform. Then if it's going to be food that's going to be there, for example, it's going to be a food hall or a food court or a food park.
Mhm.
And then we layer it to the next. What are the layers? What are the plumbing here? The plumbing here is now, you know, the the plumbing is the supply chain, the accounting system, the services that support the entrepreneurs there.
So you basically want to build like a
services.
plug-and-play
Yeah.
food court system to support the
It's
entrepreneur.
like something like this place, no?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is here. You just
Yeah.
come in,
And do your thing.
and do your thing, you know.
Yeah.
So we want something like that for food.
That's
But we
interesting.
control everything now. We're the platform.
That's very interesting.
And then we not necessarily make money on leasing. We
Mhm.
make money on being a partner of all the ones who will incubate with us.
Mhm.
And we will mentor them, we will teach them. And then because we're part of them already now, they've entered our ecosystem. Now, if they become another potato corner, we're part of that already.
Mhm.
We're
Is-
part of that adventure now.
Is that just an idea, or is that in motion, or like?
It's
what
in
is it?
motion already
Oh,
now.
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I've been doing that since I sold Potato Corner.
Oh, okay. Can I see that somewhere in Metro Manila when I go anywhere?
Yeah,
Is that-
you can find our food incubation center in UP, and
Okay.
then I'm looking for new partners who will help me put up more
Mhm.
food incubation centers all across the country now.
So that's amazing.
So I'm looking for investors for that.
Uh-huh.
Investors for those incubating
Partner entrepreneurs.
concepts. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then of course, if you have concepts, and tell me about your concepts. Tell me how you want to run it.
Mhm.
If we click together, and I like your strategic plans to grow it, hey, let's do business
Okay,
together.
like if everybody's listening who's want to be an F&B entrepreneur, that's an opportunity. It's very exciting. So I was actually very impressed because before we met, you sent me a very inspirational message. I actually would have loved to read it maybe next time. But do you have any last advice of all the decades of entrepreneurship that you went through? Like anything for the new people who want to start out, want to be an entrepreneur, either consumer or tech or whatever they want to do? Like what's kind of an advice that was super valuable for you?
To me, I like to partner with somebody who knows what he's doing. A lot of people talks about multitasking. Hey, I want to be connected with somebody who's master of what he's doing today. When I ask you, for example, you're proposing for me, for example, a new food concept. Then I'll ask you what your cost of goods are, what the other metrics are. You should be able to answer me those. So I like to partner with people who know exactly what they're doing. People are willing to learn.
So master your own craft and continuously upgrade.
Yeah.
Continuously learn. That's very amazing. Joe, thank you so much. I think
Hey, Simon, thank you.
if you want to add anything, last words, but that's already it. Appreciate you so much, Joe, for doing this, taking time off your busy schedule. That was really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.